Hi, my friends. This is Dennis Crepaldi speaking. Welcome to Dennis Talk Show. Today, I'm interviewing Laura Barros. Welcome to the talk show, Laura.
Oh, it's such an honor to be here. I feel
Guys,
fancy.
Laura is the. Do you know on Facebook you have that top fan stuff? Laura is my top fan, like Dennis Talk Show top fan. Really. She comments on everything. She gives me feedback. So, welcome to the talk show. I'm extremely happy to be talking to you, to be interviewing you. This is such an honor to me.
Oh, it's actually a much bigger honor to me, like to be invited and to be your guest here. It's so good to talk to you always, but this is a special moment.
This is a special moment, guys. You see during our talk. Laura and I, we met in 2014 when I was a CNA teacher, and I was her teacher for 2 semesters, right? 1 year. It was great. Her group was awesome.
My favorite teacher.
Don't say that. So cute. So Laura, she's finishing her college this year. She's majoring in languages, focused in English, right?
Yeah, it's Portuguese and English.
Okay, so yeah, focus on English and Portuguese. And Laura has always been an English enthusiastic, Since 2014, she was 14 years old. Her English was already, out of the curve. It was phenomenal. And I'm not just saying that, it's true. She knows that.
Thank you. It means a lot coming from you.
Well, besides that, she's a book addict. She loves books. I hope Laura can, teach us, help us, recommend us, advise us to how to read more. But okay. Laura is awesome. That's it. She's awesome. Laura Barros, how is English around you nowadays?
Well, as you know, I'm majoring in languages, so English is a big part of my life. And English has been a really big part of my life since I was 11, which is when I started at CNA studying. And since then, I never stopped. I went from 2011 until today, always studying English nonstop. I love languages. I love learning new things. So I speak English every day pretty much. Now that I'm teaching as well, so I have students and we talk every day. So I speak English pretty much every day.
Before we continue, guys, don't forget to subscribe, please. Dennis Talk Show. Follow us on Instagram. I always forget to say that in the beginning of the videos. So now I won't forget anymore. We are going to talk about books.
The book is on the table.
Why reading them? Why? As I said before, Laura is a book addict. Since I know her, she loves books. And today we're going to be discussing books. Okay? Many things about it. And my first question to Laura is, Laura, when did you fall in love with books? And how did that happen?
My mom taught me how to read when I was really young. I was 6 and didn't even go to school yet. And she taught me how to read. And we read Turma da Mônica comic books. Monica's Gang.
Monica's Gang.
And I was addicted. I was completely obsessed with the comic books. So that's when I started reading and I started getting into it. Every time someone asks me, when did you get in touch with books? I always remember this one moment, this one book. I think I was 9 years old and I was reading a trilogy called Kelly Martower. It's this children's book on a young girl. She's like a little girl and she finds out that she's a witch. Not only she is a witch, but every woman in her family is a witch. So her mother, her grandmother, and there's all of these books of spells and all of these things. And I went crazy over it. I was like, oh my God, this is it. I love it. And that's the moment I believe I fell in love with books and just everything about them. So fun fact, if you're wondering why I'm a Harry Potter fan today and a feminist, probably that book has something to do with it. All power to the girls because only the girls had powers in that book.
Oh,
No
really? Awesome. What's the name again?
Yeah, just the girls were witches. Kelly Martoyer.
I will put all the names of the books in the description here, guys, so you can check it out. What's the importance of books in your life?
I grew up, as I said, I grew up reading many different books, and I feel like they kept me company. I never was a lonely child. I had a lot of friends, and I was really into people a lot, but books were always there. Like, if I needed comfort or I needed to get in touch with a different story, they were always there. And I love fantasy, actually. So all of these different worlds and different experiences that we never heard of. So Harry Potter, Twilight. I was the biggest Twilight fan
Oh my
when I was about 12. Yeah, I've been there. So
It's
I
okay.
guess
I'm not judging.
I couldn't be myself. I wouldn't be myself today if it weren't for all of those books that added up to who I am today. So
Wow.
reading is a big part of my life.
What a powerful answer. Come on. There is something called Bookstagram, and it started as a hashtag, yes, to indicate book-related photos on Instagram, of course, but it's grown to something much bigger nowadays. Laura, can you explain what that means?
Yeah, I actually think that Instagram as a whole turned out to be something much bigger, because when it started years ago, it was just this weird social media where you post pictures of your food and your face and whatever. But from a few years ago to now, it became like this huge platform where people can be, they talk about their professions, and there's this big influencers. So the same way that we have now like a beauty community on Instagram and influencers who talk about beauty and fashion and everything, books got that too. Like, so we have this huge community that's called Bookstagram, where us book addicts and bookworms go to talk about books and review books. And we also have like really big influencers who talk about books and everything. So it turned out to be a community. I like to think of it as a community where you go and find people with the same interest. You can make so many friendships and meet so many different people. It's great. I love it.
On that topic of Bookstagram, Laura has got one herself, haven't you?
Yeah, I do.
It's an awesome name. Pouring Words. Pouring Words. No? Pouring. It's a beautiful name. So, Laura.
Thank you.
Laura, why have you created it? And tell us a little bit more about your account. Tell us a bit. Again. Tell us a little bit about your account and people you met there, and what exactly you do there.
So we share books, we share tips, not only about books itself, but how to become a reader and the problems you get into it, like, goals, for example. We set goals for reading, and then we get frustrated if we don't get along with those goals, and it's a whole thing that we can talk about there. And mostly, I think Bookstagram grew because reading is a very lonely activity. It's very quiet and lonely. It's yourself and the book. And I think that's actually very important to have that moment, just yourself and the book. But when you finish reading something, the effect that it does on you is you want to talk about it. You want to meet people who have read the same books, and you want to discuss the characters and the story. Even if you hate it, you need to tell people, oh my God, this book is horrible. So we go to Bookstagram to do that and to find people and friendships. I made so many friends on Bookstagram because when you post something about a book, someone always comments like, oh my God, I felt the same way. And then you go and talk to the person, oh yeah, I thought that too, and I hate this character. And it builds a lot of friendships. So that is what we do on Bookstagram, and that's why I love it so much.
How many books a year do you normally read?
Last year, at least one a month, like so 12 total.
12 a year.
But some years, like last year, in the pandemic, when the pandemic started, it was like a huge moment for me in reading, because I was like, okay, I have nothing else to do
Yeah.
in this house and I'm stuck here. So I read about like 10 books in a month. Like that first month, July, it was like reading everything that I can.
10 books in
Yeah,
a
but
month.
don't take that. Yeah,
It's
it
not
was
humanly.
cool.
It's not humanly possible. We've been living, for a while now, the tech generation. Everybody knows. Many people aren't used to reading books like printed books right now. So we've got the Kindle. That's the point. Laura, do you see a big difference? Do you see like a big leap from reading printed books and a Kindle? She has one, of course. Of course, she has got.
I have mine right here.
What can you tell us
actually,
about it?
This is a very good investment. But on that topic, I feel like there is a huge difference between paper and the Kindle, because not only because it's more accessible, you have like 3,000 million books in this, and it's this one device instead of having to buy lots of books. But also because it's really easier to read. You have better positions, because when you're reading, like imagine reading Lord of the Rings, the book is like this big and you have to be sitting down with this huge thing in your hand, and it's quite hard. I mean, it's the little things that make a big difference, because this is really lightweight and you can just read at anywhere, anytime.
But how was the transition to you, like from reading printed books to the Kindle?
But I'm a big fan of digital reading. I feel like I have always been a reader, so it didn't matter that much where I was reading. It actually made reading easier for me, because it's easier access and you can lay down and read and everything. But if you're starting out now, actually I think that would be easier as well, because you're already used to the screens and everything. So it would be easier to go to the Kindle instead of going through a book. It's still going to be a quiet, lonely activity, because reading, that's the nature of reading. It is supposed to be quiet and lonely, and people are not used to that as well. So, but I think if you're trying to get to read more, the Kindle might be a good choice for you, because it makes it a lot easier. And I have talked on Bookstagram, I have talked to many people who feel the same way. Like when you get your Kindle, you're so excited to use it that you read like 3 books in a row, just because you're excited and you want to do it, and it's so easy. Yeah, so it made a difference to me in like how comfortable it is to read, because it's light and easy and everything. But yeah, so it's a good transition to me, but I do miss a little bit of my printed books, because they're so pretty.
They smell, yes.
Put them in the bookshelf.
They smell the new pages. When you have a Kindle, you can, I don't know what this word means. You just click and then the dictionary is already there, But if you are reading printed books, you have to, you have to get your cell phone or your dictionary, if you still have one in your house, and search for the word, and then you're not gonna do it. That's why many students I have, they tell me, teacher, I don't read in English because it's too hard, and I don't know the vocabulary. If you use Kindle, you can do it in 1 second, literally. Could you make a top 5 of the best and the worst books you've read in your life? You might explain if you feel like it.
When you sent me that question, I was like, oh my God, how am I supposed to do this? This is so hard. But I actually got to a very good, I feel like it's a fair best books. I don't have the worst, like the top 5 worst, because I don't read many bad books. When I start reading a book and it's bad, or I feel like it's horrible, I just stop it. Like I don't force myself to finish a book that is not worth it.
Clever girl.
This is bullshit, and I just leave it alone. So I don't have many books that I hate, for example, but I did think a little, and I separated a thing. It's like a type of book that I absolutely hate. It's this contemporary poetry books like Rupi Kaur and Amanda Lovelace. So there's a specific book that I hate. It's called The Princess Saves Herself in This One. Have you ever seen it? It's really famous. Yeah, it's called The Princess Saves Herself in This One. And it's a poetry book, and you will understand this thing. But to me, she just makes sentences and statements and she sells it as poems. Like, that's not a poem to me. There's a poem that she says, like, if you don't want to be in someone else's poem, maybe you should treat people better for a change. That is not a poem. That is a statement.
It's just a statement. It's a statement.
That is literally a sentence. Yeah. And the whole book is like statements that she makes, and she like separates the sentence into little sentences so it looks like a poem, but it doesn't sound like a poem. It is not a poem, and I hate it. Literature to me is about feeling and like what connects to you the most and what makes you change. And I have top 5 best books are, first one, like the king of my heart, is called The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I'll talk about it later. Second one is probably The Handmaid's Tale. I have a tattoo on it, on a phrase. Third one would be It's Kind of a Funny Story. I read that one in English. It was the first book that I read in English.
I love the movie, but I haven't read the book yet.
I love it. Oh, the movie is good, but the book is like much better. It's so good. I love it. I read it like 3 times. I cry every time. It's really good.
Wow.
Then I said 3, right? So then 1984, George Orwell. It's a great book. It's like so many feelings and so political and like great book, amazing book. And the last one, what was the last one? Oh, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, that I also read in English recently. The movie is also, I cry every time I watch that movie.
Me too.
But the book is amazing and I love the characters. I love, like, this is a book that changed me. Mm-hmm. And I was like so emotional when I read it. So yeah, those are my top 5 favorite books.
What a list. Wow. It's funny because 1984 is in my top 5 as well. It's in my top 5. On the Road it's my Bible, you know. On the Road, Jack Kerouac, it's my Bible. I love it. The movie, not that good though, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. But the book is awesome. 1984. George Orwell, I love it. I love he writes really well. You know, his writing it's pretty easy to follow. Finally, Laura, what can you say to people like us? Yes. What can you say to those who always give excuses not to read? Oh, I don't have time. I prefer movies. I prefer series. But reading's boring. It's too lonely. What can you tell to those people, and what should these people do to read more?
What I can say, like, to help you if you want to get started to read more and everything, there's a few things that you can do to try and make that become a habit, because reading, unfortunately or not, is a habit. You have to do it a certain amount of times to become more used to it. As I said, we are not used to doing that anymore, to being quiet and alone to read, but that is actually really powerful when you do that. So if you want to try, what you can do is what we call sprints, which is like separate little amounts of time to read and to focus. So like 20 minutes, you set on your timer, 20 minutes, you sit and you read all the pages. When the timer goes off, you stop for like a little and you, just go on your phone for 5 minutes and everything. And then you put another one and you focus again. So this little sprint, it's called Pomodoro method. It helps you focus, and it helps your brain not to get tired while doing that. So that helps. Another thing that could help is setting like a moment in your daily routine. For example, I always read at night because I feel more comfortable and I get ready like to go to sleep. So I get my book or my Kindle and I just read a little bit. You don't have to do like you don't have to read a book per day. Like that's not what we're saying. It's
Like Laura.
okay to read a little. Oh, wish I were reading that many these days, that much books, but I'm not. See, we have trouble sometimes as well. Even
Yeah.
us book addicts, life gets in the way sometimes. It's fine, but we have to try and get back to it because it changes us.
True.
So those two things, you have set a time in your daily basis, like, oh, I'll read every morning or I'll read every night, because that helps it become a habit easier. And the sprints are a good way to start.
The interview is over. No, my friends. We have these beautiful moments that everybody loves. The game time. The name of this game is Pitch Me a Book. Pitch me a book. You know this term elevator pitch, guys? An elevator pitch is when you tell a story, like when you are trying to sell the story of a movie or a book to a company, yes, to Hollywood, for example, and you have 1 minute. An elevator pitch is 1 minute. However, what I'm gonna do to Laura, it's gonna be much more aggressive, my friends. So wait for it. I have here a list of books that I separated, that I created. Coincidentally, some of these books Laura told us today in the interview. Coincidentally, my friends. Not so much, because I did my research, yes. I know Laura. I will give you 20 seconds. It's a lot, yes, guys. 20 seconds. Not so much. 20 seconds to pitch me a book. Ready, guys? Are you ready, Laura? I'm gonna give.
So let's go.
I'm gonna give Laura the name of the book and the name of the author, yes, the writer, and she has 20 seconds. Okay, guys? I have here on the clock. Ready?
Yeah.
So, Laura, pitch me this book. 1984, George Orwell. Go.
It's a horrible place. The government sucks. They watch everything that you're doing. You know that song? Every step you take. That song. That is this book. And you cannot think different than the government. The government will kick your ass if you think different than they do. So torture and violence and
20 seconds.
Horrible. Damn it.
Wow.
I tried.
Wow, guys, the Big Brother is always watching. The Big Brother is always watching us. Be careful. Ready for the next? Oh, my friends, The Handmaid's Tale. Margaret Atwood.
Oh God.
Go.
Again, horrible government, horrible place to live. Women are inferior and women are there only to reproduce and to create babies. We are inferiorized into this specific place and it sucks, but we have to fight and we have to keep going. That's the book.
Totally religious as well, yes.
Yeah, a lot of religion.
Wow, that was 20 seconds.
But it's 20 seconds. I feel
yes. No, it was exactly 20 seconds. Wow, congratulations. Jesus.
I'm getting good at this.
I'm sorry. What? Oh, my director. Really? Are you sure? Okay. You have 10 seconds now for the next 2 books. Oh my God. 10 seconds. Jesus.
Jenny, you want to kill me.
Wow, Laura, you have to really think of your words, the key words. 10 seconds. And the first one is one of my favorites. I have a tattoo that one of these guys sentenced. Brave New World, Aldous Huxley. You know, in Português é Admirável Mundo Novo, amigos. Amigos, sorry.
Amigos da Rede Globo.
Admirável Mundo Novo, my friends. Ready? 3, 2, 1. 10 seconds, Laura. Go.
Genetic manipulation and people, weird people and weird government, and there are savage people that are separated from society, and people don't die.
10 seconds.
People look young forever. This is so hard.
But it was incredible, your definition. And there is what's the name of the drug they give them? Do you remember? Soma. Soma.
Soma, yeah.
Yes, it's like a little drug every day. So you respect the fucking government. See, so far 3 books, and all those 3 books, they're connected to horrible government. Why do you think that, my friends? Because it's the reality.
Yeah.
It's the reality. All right, Laura. So far, so good. So far, you are perfect. The next one, I believe, is gonna be okay in 10 seconds. The Diary of Anne Frank, by Anne Frank, of course. 10 seconds. Go.
Okay, so Hitler, Holocaust, and this family has to hide itself because they're all Jews, and they live in this house, like really little house, alone, by themselves, hidden from the government because they
10
do not
seconds.
exist in Germany.
Wow.
This is so hard.
This is so awesome. Wow. What?
I
5
love
seconds.
this, but I hate
5
it.
seconds. Oh my God.
No.
The director.
No.
Guys, o gerente ficou maluco.
O gerente ficou maluco!
The manager got crazy, my friends. 5 seconds. Jesus Christ.
No, that is impossible.
You can do it. You can do it because I separated 2 books that I know you love it, and you can do it. You can do it. 5 seconds, guys. It's impossible. Okay.
Nothing.
The first one in 5 seconds, Laura. Alice in Wonderland, Lewis Carroll. Go.
My Little Tattoo. Little girl, amazing Wonderland, different creatures, and every animal speaks, and it's interaction
5 seconds.
with her, and I hate you for doing this.
I love you too. And the last, my friends, I think everybody knows. Everybody was expecting Laura talking about this book today. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling. In 5 seconds. Go.
Harry, you're a wizard. Hogwarts and Diagon Alley, let's buy you an owl. Let's buy you your wand. And you have to fight this guy who killed your family. His name is Voldemort, but we do not say his name.
5 seconds.
Oh my god, cool.
Wow. Wow. What a...
I hated it, but it was a lot of fun.
I think all my guests hate the games, yes, because it's always like testing their abilities in something, you know. Laura, wow. You did great. Great.
Well, I tried.
And now, my friends, now the interview is coming to an end. So sad. I really want to thank you so much for participating here. I know how much you wanted it because you are Danish Talk Show top fan.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for being really an inspiration for me as a teacher and as someone who loves English. Your presence in my life as a teacher and as a friend, it really changes everything to me, honestly.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I always remember you as well with so much joy because we were so happy together in that group. So thank you for
True.
having me. It was an honor and a pleasure to be here. And yeah, I love it.
Wow. The pleasure, the honor was all mine. Wow. I have no words, guys. I have no words, really. Thank you so much, Laura. You are a very special person. You know that. You're a very special human being. And our conversation was incredible. And you know, your love for books, it's just wow. I know that people will feel motivated to reading books and everything. You know, thank you so much. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to Danish Talk Show. Don't forget to follow us here on Instagram at Danish Talk Show. Yes. Comment. Yes. Leave here in the comments your favorite books. Yeah. Which books do you love? Which books you didn't love that much? Yeah. And leave your like, please. Thumbs up. Thank you so much. You are the best. Thank you, guys. Subscribe, please.
Bye.
Goodbye. Oh my God.
That's a
Wow.
wrap.
That's a wrap. Let me close.